You'll see a lot of this snow. We can kick it out of the way. Underneath that, we're seeing mud and slush, ruining my boots this morning. It's okay. All for you guys here in Wave Country. Again, Dixie Highway here right behind me. You can see cars are driving a little bit slower this morning. That slush is starting to accumulate, especially in the median. You can see it is an absolute mess in here. What used to be a window bordered by brick is now scattered debris across the floor, smashing into racks of clothing, glass scattered everywhere. This desk completely shifted across the floor. The good news here, though, no one was hurt. No one was inside the building at the time of the crash. The LMPD cruiser, the driver of that cruiser, no one hurt. Teams are actually having to start over. As we're looking at the debris left behind here, we're looking at box springs, mattresses. We see laundry baskets. So much here, necessities that these teens simply do not have this morning. They're truly lucky to be alive now, keeping warm in a nearby gymnasium this morning until a new home becomes available. The 16 men and women are a part of the Boys and Girls Haven Pre-Independent program. So they're on the older end of the program. We're talking late teens to early 20s. They're living in these dorm-like apartments to help transition into life outside of the foster care system. The search is now on for other foster homes. His fellow firefighters actually pulling him from this burning building, treating his minor injuries right here on scene. Meanwhile, though, other firefighters were still inside the building, washing away the blaze. A much calmer scene is what you see now. Firefighters now able to take a step back and take a look at exactly what's happening here right now. Earlier, 3 people who called this 2-story duplex home were able to escape after the building caught fire. We come out here each and every year for the homeless count, and you all know what it is that the volunteers are looking for, and this is a prime example. Several tents that are underneath the overpass here. Volunteers searching in dumpsters or on the porches of several buildings or businesses downtown. All in all, they want to get an accurate count so that the city can get a better idea of how much funding needs to be pushed toward ridding homelessness altogether. We've been walking the streets of downtown Louisville since 4 o'clock this morning alongside a group with 1 man, 3 women. They're from Aetna, and they're telling us exactly what their job is when they do come across a homeless person.
I'm asking them kind of their history, how long they've been homeless, how many times they've been homeless, if they had their vaccines.
Yeah, the road's still blocked off. We've been reporting on it for the past couple days. This high water sign is not a joke. A lot of cars that we've seen stuck on Melwood Avenue went around these barriers, causing a major issue. About a quarter of a mile into Melwood, you're not going to get much further than that, and we know why. The rising ditches on the other side continue to get higher and higher and eventually flooding into Melwood Avenue. Pull off here into a parking lot right off of Dixie Highway just so I can show you guys exactly what we're dealing with when you're walking out this morning. If you're having to stop at a gas station, anything like that. We'll switch to the rooftop camera here. You can see me actually getting out of the storm tracker. Be very careful as you're getting out and about this morning too, because the parking lots, all of these areas, your driveways, maybe the sidewalk leading to your car, going to cause you some issues this morning. So you can see as I'm walking, we have the snow that is just kind of brushing off the roadway here. Dixie Highway is behind me. Hopefully I'm out far enough to where you guys can see it, but you can see people traveling slowly on Dixie Highway this morning. A lot of the southern counties traveling into Louisville. It is cold out here. My nose feels like it's about to fall off. The snow tickling my face this morning. I'll tell you, even if you don't have to get out and about and drive this morning, get up, take a peek out of your window because it is a beautiful sight. You can see snow falling here right at the Hardin County line, Jefferson-Hardin County line right off of Dixie Highway. We have quite a bit of accumulation here too. Again, we're seeing that really light, fluffy stuff. I'd say about 2.5 to 3 inches right here when you're close to Hardin County and into Meade County. And the drivers here on Dixie Highway, they're taking our advice. They're taking it easy. We've seen several snow plows traveling southbound and northbound here on Dixie Highway past West Point. You can see what is typically a parking lot now completely flooded. Good luck trying to find a spot to sit at Waterfront Park if you come down during your lunch break today, which is unfortunate, right? With these warm temperatures, we'd like to get out and enjoy the park this morning, but you can see the Ohio River flooding into this parking lot and other areas of the park this morning. But this is not the only spot where you'll see the rising waters. Just yesterday, we went out to Juniper Beach Road. A lot of neighbors affected there, their homes affected by the rising water, but it's not anything that they're not used to. These neighbors know how to deal with the rising waters, but we did catch up with one young man who says he actually took a canoe to school yesterday morning.
I'd never done it before, but I made it. Everybody was shocked.
There is so much to clean up. I will tell you, though, crews have made a dent in this mess. About 90 acres makes up Waterfront Park. About half of it still underwater. The other half, of course, covered in debris. It's driftwood that's making up most of the mess on Waterfront Park. Driftwood such as this, but they are slowly chopping it up, grinding it up, and moving it over to dumpsters, such as this large one right here. This morning, we see 2 of these down here at the Great Lawn, completely filled up. 1967, this started out as a simple pancake breakfast and a pumpkin festival. The year after that, it increased to 12 booths. They started shutting down the streets like they do now, and this absolutely blown up. More than 300 booths that you'll find out here at Harvest Homecoming each and every year. This is when we have, of course, Miss Harvest Homecoming, who we just spoke to. Miss Harvest Homecoming, outstanding teen. There's so much to do, so many contests, and so much food. I think that's all we can think about this morning because we're so hungry.
And I'm
looking
already
at this sign. This is my kind of food right here. I'm not too much on the sweet stuff, but eggs to order, the hash browns, the biscuits and gravy. And I'll tell you that when it comes to the apple dumplings, I dropped that G. It's apple dumplings. When you're in New Albany. What do you think?
Getting a little Meade County, Kayla stomping grounds here. Yeah, we're having so much fun out here.
The victim is currently at University Hospital. His condition has not been released to us. We know he was shot multiple times. This call coming in at 4:30 this morning. LMPD still here at the scene. Most of the cruisers in the exact same spot as they were when they arrived a couple hours ago. So you can see yellow police tape does section off an area near the 200 building right here on Rockcliffe Court. This street is completely blocked off through traffic. So keep that in mind in this area. A lot of neighbors starting to wake up this morning. We're watching porch lights come on. A lot of curiosity, lots of questions. We're trying to bring those answers to you. Again, we know that call came in around 4:30 this morning. One man shot. When it comes to suspect information, though, that's very limited to us right now. Police not releasing any information about a potential suspect or any arrests that possibly have been made this morning. So we do see officers gathered outside of police cruisers this morning, piecing together all of this developing information. Of course, as we get more details, we'll bring it to you right here on Sunrise. For now, reporting live in the Bashford Manor neighborhood, Kayla VanMeter, Wave 3 News. The water continues to rise down here. You can see boat docks behind me, but right here's a sidewalk. And we know water's not supposed to be there, right? Just to put it in perspective, if you come down to Waterfront Park often, this is typically where concerts take place. So a stage would be in this area. People walk along this sidewalk to walk down to the river itself. And right now you can't see the difference between the two. But there are other parts in the city, too, affected by the rising river. And this morning we're talking about businesses. It's a small one. It's on top, but that brightly colored piece of cloth will alert rescuers who are driving by that you need some help. They're also suggesting that you use several layers, wrapping up your body, wrapping up your head, your legs in order to keep warm. That's why we suggest always keeping extra jackets and blankets stored in the back of your vehicle in case of an emergency. And I know it's really hard to wrap our minds around this right now. We want to enjoy the warm temperatures while we have them, affected by the rising water, but it's not anything that they're not used to. These neighbors know how to deal with the rising waters, but we did catch up with one young man who says he actually took a canoe to school yesterday morning.
I'd never done it before, but I made it. Everybody was shocked.
There is a sense of urgency when it comes to the investigators. They are digging for answers because of this. We're talking 4 deaths within 4 days. It's simply unheard of. Each horse had a different trainer, each horse a part of a different race, which is making this even more difficult. Yeah, we've seen at least one of them before in some surveillance video, and we've watched them in court as well. Now their mugshots are popping up everywhere across the city. The 2 inmates we're talking about, Jeremy Hunt, and it'll be business as usual here at the federal courthouse. But when listening to both Republicans and Democrats, it doesn't seem that anyone is very happy about this. McConnell announcing the end to the government shutdown in the Senate.